Hi, I'm Adrian Kinaird, writer of From Earth's End, the best of New Zealand comics, in stores November 1st, $59.99. It's basically the complete history of New Zealand comics from the 1900s to today, and 30 of the best creators over the last 20 years or so. So you've got a whole variety of genres. You've got romance, abstract art, horror, action, even ecological superheroes, so it's all in there, and even some content on how New Zealand comics has affected our, or influenced culture, like Dick Frizzell on painting, even Vincent Ward's interest in comics, the creative process within Singh. So everything you really need to know about New Zealand comics is here for the first time.
Adrian, how long have you been creating comics?
Probably since I started drawing when I was probably 5-6 years old, but I started doing my own comics from probably 12 onwards. And that seems to be quite typical of most cartoonists I've spoken to.
You've been a producer online with your blog From Earth's End for a while now. What keeps you going?
It's the community that keeps that going, really. I try to do interviews and editorials every once in a while, but most of the content is really just driven by people doing new work and projects and promoting those. And at first it seemed like that would be part of the site and I'd still have to review movies and other culture-related comic stuff, but there really is enough comics content that there's now my blog, there's Guitar Press, there's so much stuff happening that there really needs to be more than one person doing it. So hopefully with the book it can continue to grow and turn the community into more of a publishing thing. So yeah, that's the plan.
You've worked freehand in creating comics. Are you looking at doing digital?
I prefer to freehand draw comics just so I've still got some actual artwork. I've started tinkering with it recently, like I did an introduction that's illustrated in the book. And while that's hand-drawn, I did a lot of digital tweaking to fit the format of the book because it changed in production, and also sort of adding in other illustrations through the work to kind of give it an extra texture. And that's been kind of an interesting process for me because I've only got 2 originals of these and a couple of separate panels which are all only exist in the book in finished form, other than sort of separate pieces. And I do my colouring digitally. This one's obviously in black and white, but I've got a story in Faction number 2 which is in colour, so I'll do that in Photoshop and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Do you only work on your own comics?
Yeah, like most traditional New Zealand cartoonists, I write and illustrate my own stuff. And that's kind of, I guess, growing up drawing my own comics, that's really more my preference. I've tried working with other co-writers in the past, but really I just end up adapting what they give me and writing it myself. So yeah, I prefer to do my own stuff.
Adrian, where do you see the future of New Zealand comics heading?
I think I see it going into bookstores and digital downloads, really, which is where I see the whole industry going on the whole. I think we're looking at seeing graphic novels are becoming I guess more sought after for their appeal as an art object as well as a good read, and the single issues you can now download rather cheaply, and then if you like it you'll go and buy the finished printed book. So I think that's probably where the market's going, and as a small country and with independent publishing, I think it's a really good option for us. So hopefully we can continue in that direction.
Your book From Earth's End is an amazing feat. How did you get funding for it?
The publisher funded all the costs for that. I mean, obviously I got an advance to work on it, but it would have been nice to get some Creative New Zealand funding or government support, which didn't happen for this project. And it's kind of a roulette wheel to try and get funding for books at the moment, because there's so many active publishers and writers seeking to get funding for their projects and only such limited funds at the moment. So I didn't get funding for this, but I was happy to do it off my own back just to get it out there, and Random were nice enough to take on the project and cover the printing and all those kind of other related publishing costs.
Was it hard getting Random House to come on board?
It took about 3 years, and it was, I think that was pretty typical. Like I first started pitching this in 2007, 2008, and every publisher I spoke to was interested. Everyone loved the idea, but there was no facts or figures, no history to back up whether it would be profitable for someone. And obviously as a publisher, that's what you're looking for, as a project that's going to make you money. And since there had never been in New Zealand a large New Zealand graphic novel at that point, this was prior to even Sheldon Burning happening, it took a lot of convincing for them to finally realise that this would be a profitable endeavour and was worth doing. But I think it also helped that there was a lot of publishing going on now in the States and the UK, and the graphic novels now have their New York Times bestseller lists and their Amazon bestseller lists, so I think they were finally able to see that there's a market there for it.